There we are. It is Wednesday, hump day, and I have the best cure for you for hump day. It is this woman's energy is amazing. I smile just when she pops on the camera. It's Christy Holt, and she's here to share a bunch of stuff with us that I know is going to resonate with a lot of people because she takes women from overwhelmed and stuck to balanced and confident. So, anybody overwhelmed by the holidays? Maybe just a little bit. Anybody overwhelmed by 2 years of COVID? Maybe just a little bit. Anybody overwhelmed with chaos in their homes, taking care of parents, taking care of kids? This is the place to be today because we're going to get a number of tools and tricks on how to deal with some of that, number one, but then even more importantly, learn a little bit about Christy and her genius. I'm so happy you joined us, Christy. How are you?
Thanks so much. I'm so excited to be here. Pam, thanks so much for inviting me. I am super excited to share a little bit more about what I've got going on, and hopefully it'll inspire someone today.
I'm sure it will. You've already inspired me just in our little pre-talk. But here's my first question. Where are you geographically?
I am in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So
Awesome.
just
And
east of the
snowing there
Rocky.
yet?
Sorry?
Snowing there yet?
Oh, yeah, it's been snowing, although I can't complain. It's actually been a pretty slow easing into winter. It hasn't been all that cold. It's really
Okay.
icy today. We had freezing rain because it's right
Oh,
around zero, right around freezing.
yep.
Um, yeah, I'm gonna move someday. I'm moving somewhere where it doesn't snow because I don't need any white Christmas or anything like that.
You've had your share.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. So I can't wait to ask you a bunch of questions that I have on my mind. But can you give us a little bit of your background, kind of how you got to doing what you're doing and what specifically you're focused on now, just to let everybody get grounded?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to share. So I've always been a bit of a jack of all trades. So my experience and my story is a little bit of a mishmash of a lot of different components. But I'll start with the first business that I began when I was about 14. I started teaching piano lessons, and in fact,
Oh,
I still teach
wow.
piano lessons today. I am a much better teacher than I am a pianist. Really accentuate that and really enunciate my words there so I'm not confused. Nobody's confused. Pianist. I've
Yeah,
always
good
been a
point.
bit of a teacher. Yeah, always been a teacher kind of right from the get-go. So I started with the piano teaching. Really now I've been teaching for, I don't know, I'm on level 42. I mean, not in piano, but in life. So quite a few years, like a couple of decades plus. And I really love the transformation, especially with like brand new students. They just make such
Yeah.
a transformation so fast. So I love that. Then, moving along in life, I went to university. I got a business degree, major in accounting. I became a professional accountant, and I spent, I don't know, 5 or 6 years as a professional accountant. I also, during that time, did some teaching at the post-secondary sort of accounting level.
Hmm.
And I enjoyed the teaching, but not so much the accounting. And I think for me, it was the 9 to 5 job is totally not
Yeah.
my jam. Working for someone else's dream is not my jam. And I
Hmm.
just felt like my energy was being drained, and I was just lining someone else's pockets for their big dreams. And it just didn't feel like
Wasn't
it
your
was.
thing.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. So I mean, while you're in it, you kind of stay stuck in it. You're like, well, this is how it is. And so you kind of trudge along. But from there, not too long after that, I actually started having a family. And so when I had my kids, instantly I knew I did not want to go back to that job that I had
It
been at where
wasn't going to happen.
I had the kids, right? And so I had this immediate dread actually about having to leave my newborn baby with a stranger. Just we didn't have family here, and it was
No,
looking like I was going to need to return. And I was just like, ugh, I don't want to. I want to
I don't
stay home
want
with
to.
babies. So long story short, I did end up staying home through a strange series of events that honestly we don't have time to talk about all of them today. But yeah, so I ended up actually staying home with my kids. I have 3 sons, and I also have a bonus son who is my partner's son. They're all teen boys. It's chaos and madness. But long story short, I decided not to go back to the accounting world. Instead, I became a fitness instructor, following in one of my other passions. I became a personal trainer. I started teaching fitness classes. I got a nutrition coaching certification to go with all of that. And I started coaching mostly women, but sometimes men too, coaching them, personal training, helping them to fine tune their fitness or nutrition so that they could get better results in that whole health department.
Mhm.
But that wasn't enough for me. That sounds ridiculous. I wanted
No,
to
I get it.
in such a bigger way than that. I just
Got it.
felt the mindset was always a component of it for me. And the more I coached as a health coach, the more I was like, forget about that. Like, it's important, but it's more important to be balanced and to get those mindsets right so that you can build the right health program for you and not someone
Mhm.
else.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then COVID happened, and all the stuff I was doing before COVID, which was teaching lots of fitness classes, driving all over the place, and seeing a ton of people, kind of disappeared overnight. So I
Ah, yep.
shifted. I teach, you can see my studio behind me here. I teach fitness online on Zoom 3 times a week. That's really fun. It's very much a means of me getting my workout in, but also,
Perfect.
inspiring my clients to show up and get it done. And it's really all levels. And yeah, we have a really good time and have a good intention behind our workout, and yeah, gives us lots of energy. So
I
yeah.
love that. So you came at it, all of this, through just the experience of some things you liked, some things you didn't like, and wound yourself up here in really a place where you're moving people to take almost more command of their lives, and not responsibility, that's the wrong, but getting an eye on the fact that they can live a happy life. I see a lot around you about happiness. So I'm curious, talk to me about that. We often hear people say, well, you can't be happy all the time. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, as part of my journey, I was in a not a very great relationship that I had to sort of overcome. I ended up going through a pretty high conflict divorce, currently co-parenting with said high conflict ex-partner. So I have a lot of experience in being stuck as part of my previous life. Um, but something that actually my ex, I will give him some credit for this. He constantly told me that I saw the world through rose-colored glasses. And you know what? I don't actually see that as a terrible thing. It means that
That's
I
yeah.
choose to focus on the positive things, choose to focus on those things that make me feel better, as opposed to giving up my peace to live in uncertainty or fear or sadness or disappointment. And taking myself from that place of being so stuck to now where I am, which is an entirely different world. I have the most amazing partner, who actually truly has my back. He is my biggest cheerleader, my biggest supporter. And do I need him? No, but I sure love having him around. And
Yep.
he definitely makes it easier for me to stay happy. People do say that all the time. I hear people say, oh, I can't always be happy. Life has
Right.
this, that, and this happened, and this other terrible thing happened. And to that, I say, you can still, happiness is a state of mind. You can still experience grief and be happy. You can experience sadness and still be happy. And if you can look for, instead of looking at your challenges or obstacles or circumstances as something that's going to hold you back and keep you down, if you can look for the opportunities, if you can look for the lessons, if you can look for something good to take out of that and move forward, then I don't see any reason why you can't create your happy
Yeah.
pretty much
That's
every day.
interesting. You said, you used a word in there that jumped out at me, and it was choice. Because you said you can choose. And that's really the answer at any moment in time, at any point of the day, whether it's going well, whether it's going, badly in your mind, you can choose a different path. Now, it's not always easy to get there. I remember one time, I'll tell you a story. I had something really crappy happened at work. Like, it was the worst thing in my career that had ever happened in my career. And it was somebody who worked for me, and there was an incident, and it was just my heart broke for him, and I knew what the ramifications were going to be for all of us. It was a big deal. And I was miserable. Like, it just was like my world was crumbling around. And I remember thinking, gratitude's the key. Somebody told me gratitude's the key. I have no idea where that came from. This was 12 years ago before I'd really studied on any of this stuff. And I'm like, gratitude's the key. Gratitude's the key. And I looked around, I said, what am I grateful for? There's got to be something in this room I'm grateful for. And the only thing my eyes could see at that moment was a stapler. And I thought, okay, we'll start with a stapler. I'm grateful for this stapler because it can staple things. Because when it staples things, I can organize them. And when I can organize them, I can, in that particular case, I said, do a better job search. Because I pretty much knew we were going to be losing our jobs over what had happened.
Gotcha.
And then just was able to parlay that into, oh my God, I'm so grateful for my family, my home, my Bob, and everything just calmed down. And if you had told me before I started that little ridiculous look at a stapler that that would have made a difference, I'd have said you were crazy. That was the best thing that ever happened in my life.
Yeah.
Absolutely the best thing that ever happened in my life, despite the fact that in that moment it seemed the worst. So there is happiness to be found in whatever the horrible thing is. And there's happiness to be found without feeling guilty about it.
Right. That's the other part of it too, isn't it? Is the allowing ourselves to find that
Yep.
happiness, because
Yep.
sometimes we just don't feel we're worth it. And you know what, it is sometimes easier to stay stuck, stay
Yep.
comfortable in your uncomfortable present. I know, you know, your story made me think of an example of something that I share actually all the time, because I think it's so relevant to people. Is I was doing this hike, and slowly things started happening where I was like, oh, I could see my mood slipping. So I realized that my sock was sliding into my shoe and it was starting to chafe my heel. Then it dawned on me that I had forgot my hiking poles. And so I started this loop in my mind of like, oh
There
my
you
God,
go.
now it's going to be hard. And I was too far from the car to go back. And I was like, oh my gosh. So we get in this space of, it's
Yeah.
kind of creepy. And my partner, you know, was just like trying to talk. And I almost wanted to tell him to be quiet because I was just in a mood.
Too
And I
much.
know
Yep.
we do this, right? We're like, go away. I just leave me to be grumpy. And then in this moment, I got to thinking like, do I really want to give up this moment to be grumpy? When I looked up, I could see the sun shining through the trees and it was
Oh,
illuminating the
I just
snow.
got chills.
The snow I was really bitching about. I was like, oh,
Yep.
there's
Oh my
snow and it's
God, I got chills.
August.
Yeah.
And I was like, I did not sign up for snow in August, but here we are, snow on this hike. But the sun shone through and, you know, the snow was so pretty and glimmering. And I was like, how can I stay mad? Like that would be a
Yep.
really silly choice on my part to just give into that and stay
I
stuck
love
there.
it. Yeah. Bruce hit the same thing. I'm happy most of the time. Choose to be happy every day. Choose
Yeah.
is that operative word. It really, really is. So that's fantastic. So kind of on the flip side of that, I'm guessing when people come to you a lot, they're sort of stuck, I'm guessing, in some kind of way. So like what does that look like? How do you sort of identify that somebody's stuck and think about the ways to get them from, because I know, like you said, when I'm in that mood, don't come tell me to be happy. I'm going to smack you. My mother used to call me Pollyanna because I would do it to her or to anybody. And I will often irritate my wife the same way because she's like, will you just let me have my mood? And I'm like, no, don't waste the time on your mood. But like, how do you know what does stuck look like, first of all? Like, and when
Yeah.
do you know to leave it alone versus trying to help? I guess by the time they call you, they know they need help. But
Yeah. I think that, you know, it is sort of that situation where if you don't think that you can change it, you're probably not going to take the steps to change it, right? So it's a bit of this dislodging yourself and a little bit of self-belief that you can change and that things can be different. Now, what stuck often looks like, it often looks like you've got it all together on the outside, but inside you feel a different story. You are overwhelmed, overthinking. Maybe you're experiencing low energy or even burnout. Sometimes it's perfectionism, recovering
okay,
perfectionist.
we've all got one, don't we? I bet you
Yeah.
everybody's watching this, whether it's live or replay, is taking an opportunity to raise their hand at that list you just did. Oh
Right.
my God.
Self-doubt is often really
Yeah.
high. I hear a lot of people complain lack of motivation.
Mhm.
Probably because they're trying to do stuff that's not really right for their soul, but we'll come back to that.
Okay.
Never enough time, always the last priority. So give, 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 and not taking time to nurture or care for self, like basically trying so hard to, maybe get people to like you or to be successful or to create a certain outcome. And all that results is it ends up feeling more and more like out of control. And you end up in this survival mode. Now, I know a lot of people in COVID are
Okay.
into survival mode. If this goes on too long, living in this state with, the anxiety and the overwhelm and all of these things, it could result in physical ailments, like physical
Mhm.
sickness from the ongoing stress. Um, it may very well be impacting your relationships, whether it be your partner, your children, your work, whatever the case may be. I know that in my experience, my marriage was suffering when I was in this place of stuckness. And we both were kind of stuck, to be fair.
Okay, at the same
You
time.
I managed to dislodge myself from being stuck, and I hoped he would actually be inspired and follow me on that journey, but here we are. It's okay. He's still kind of, content with his discontentment, I guess.
Yeah.
Um not ready. I don't know. But, the other sort of things of stuck is maybe your thought life is floundering, right? You're having lots of ongoing thoughts, negative thoughts. Maybe you're rehashing the past, which is sort of going to lead you to maybe be depressed about
Good point.
things,
Yep.
things that didn't go well. Maybe it's anxiety. Maybe you're living in fear or uncertainty regarding the future and what could go wrong. And either way, living in either of these places, all that does is guarantee our suffering in the moment. And we really only have right now, this very moment, that we can actually take control of. We can't control the future. We can't change the past, but we can control how we are going to feel and behave right now.
And therefore, to your point, you can choose happiness. So is stuck sort of the opposite of alignment? Like I'm thinking of one of the terms I saw when we were talking or heard you use was helping people get in alignment with kind of aligned with their soul, aligned with their center. Is that the opposite of stuck, or like, how do those two play together?
I mean, it's kind of a journey, I think, from one to the other. And I think alignment is maybe a bit of a moving target because the more we
Huh.
learn about ourselves, the more there is to figure out. And to me, alignment is balance. It's ease and flow in your daily life. And like I mentioned, it's really, it's kind of based on this foundation of self-love and acceptance. In order to discover, what that looks like for you, you've got to have this sort of base foundation. To me, alignment or balance, they kind of sort of interchangeable. So depending on maybe which word resonates most with someone, aligned or balanced, to me, it means, living out your truths, building a life, maybe a business, maybe relationships around your unique skills, talents, experiences, the gifts that you were given, following those desires that are in your heart based on all of those things that you've experienced. And oftentimes that means sharing, your unique message or your unique gift with those around you.
Hmm.
So in order to like really to move from stuck to balanced living, you're gonna have actually quite a few benefits because you're gonna take back control of your life. And talk about confidence now, right? When you're the one in the driver's seat, man, does that really elevate that confidence factor real fast, right? Mostly my clients report having higher energy. They have more time in their schedule because they're really releasing and letting go of those
So
things they're
true.
no
Yep.
longer serving, which means they have more time for that which is really important to them. Uh, Being in alignment involves having a greater clarity, clear direction so that you can avoid any more overwhelm, right? The overwhelm is just kind of keep you stuck floundering in all this overthinking, but not actually helping you to move forward. In my case, especially every time I would get in this overwhelm, overthinking pattern, I was just shut down. I'd end up scrolling Facebook or binging Netflix to avoid actually
Relief here.
doing something, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure some people can relate to that too.
Oh my God, yes. That's my go-to.
Yeah. And I still
Yeah.
find myself, scrolling Facebook now and then too, but it's not, the intention behind it is a little bit different. When I go there, I'm seeking to connect with people and learn and grow and inspire instead of looking for that comparison. I'm gonna come back to the comparison maybe after, but
Okay, cool.
um, yeah. So getting in alignment means feeling a little bit more peace and flow in your day, right? More calm, better able to deal with all of the shit that life be throwing your way on a regular basis so that you can, take in those experiences and not let them crush you. Instead, look for the opportunity, look for the learning point that you
Love
could
it.
take from it, shift it and move forward, because you're not gonna be able to change it. You're not gonna be able to go back and change the crummy circumstance, but you also don't need to be chained to it or tied to that past experience and allow that to create all
Amen. I do this with people in money stories all the time. We work on their money stories with this
that.
in the finance coaching because it is so hard to let go of for people to let go of those past mistakes. And I love it in that there's number one, there's nothing you can do about it now. So it's all
Absolutely.
wasted energy. There's no value in that energy. There is value in what was it and what do I want to do differently? And there's
Absolutely.
value in how cool is this gonna be down the road when I'm not doing it anymore. But you wanted to talk about comparison, so I wanted to circle you back to that.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch on that because I think that if you look to other people, you might be trying to fit yourself into a box that's not your box to be fit in. And that can actually lend really quite nicely to adding to your stuckness and you're not feeling good enough because you're
Yep,
looking at that person wondering, okay, well, why am I not having that success? Or why is my life not going the same way? The fact is that you're dulling your magic by trying to do what everyone else is doing. So the secret to this really is going inside, getting that alignment. Again, starting with that self-love and acceptance. Who are you? And it's not a matter of creating some new version of you. It's really more of an uncovering the true version of yourself that
I love
existed
that.
before everyone else told you who you were and weren't, and
Yep,
how to bring her back or him or her back to life and create that future. So that you can feel more confident. You may look to other people for inspiration, but you're not comparing.
but
You're
not
not
comparison.
allowing that to bring you down or hold you back. You're allowing that to potentially to elevate you so that you can elevate each other at the same time. And for anybody watching this, I just want to also add that you are so loved and so worthy, and you don't need to do anything. You are simply deserving of all of it for being who you are. So
I love it. I love it. That is so important, and we really, really forget it. And the thing that really resonated with me was when you said, "Here's how stuck manifests itself," and you went through a list of, you know, 20 or 30 things that I think I could have raised my hand to all of them probably, but I definitely did to half of them. And you had mentioned one of the things I love doing, and you offered to do it, is give our folks that are watching live or on replay something they can do to get unstuck. And in your own words, I'm going to show the little banner that you have, and we're going
yeah,
to help them get the fuck unstuck. So,
yeah.
what is it people can do to get themselves unstuck?
Well, so I'm really excited. I don't even have words. I'm so excited to share
I
with you
know,
guys
I love that.
one simple mindset shift. I want to touch on the get the fuck unstuck just for a moment, because really what I have is this great resource that can help to identify what areas in which you are most stuck, which is really a useful tool in order to start taking steps and shifting mindsets in those particular areas so that you can have the best, most efficient results possible. So if anybody's interested in the get the fuck unstuck quiz, just hit me up in the DMs or something like that, and or an email, and I will get that quiz off to you.
Awesome.
Basically, my superpower is helping people to look into those beliefs, those mindsets, anything that they currently are holding that aren't serving the future self that they desire to create. And my superpower is really to help them reframe those mindsets, those beliefs into something that is actually going to help them progress forward. Oftentimes We have beliefs, and we don't even always take the time to question, where did I get this belief from?
We don't
Why
even
am
realize their beliefs. We don't even
right?
realize that they're beliefs that are constraining us. It's so funny because every now and then, and I'm sure this has happened to a lot of people watching this, is you all of a sudden get a light bulb moment and you say, "Oh, I can think about that differently." Like I had one recently. What the heck was it? Where I went, "Oh, that's just something I've always thought. It's not necessarily truth. It's just a thing I've always thought." And it just, in that moment, I went, I wonder how many of those I don't even realize are things I've always thought.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's so
having you look in on it makes such a difference.
yeah, it's really important. And I am someone who definitely spends a lot of time, with curiosity towards those things. And if excuses or stories or a tendency to blame other people or a tendency to go into this victim mentality where you are a victim to your circumstances and everything is happening to you instead of looking
Mhm.
at from the perspective that you, in fact, are the creator of your life and you can create what you want if you are intentional about it. It
Mhm.
happens to you. If you're sitting back and not being intentional, it is absolutely, the world is going on, life goes on, it is going to happen all around you. And if you don't
Yep.
have your input, then I guess you're not going to probably get the result that you're looking for. So I wanted to share with everybody today just one example of a tiny mindset shift that I truly believe can actually change your whole life in just a moment if you really are able to take it in fully. And this is in general an idea that, one of the most common things I hear anyways from my clients is that they have a dream or a vision and they have this idea, but they don't feel ready. They
Huh.
don't they don't have the experience. They need to finish another course or 5 or 10, or
Mhm.
they just don't feel ready. They don't have the technical skills. They don't have whatever. So they keep learning. They keep taking courses. They keep waiting until they're never going to be ready. We know
Yep.
this, right? And we've been there. And as long as we sit around waiting until we are ready,
You're
um,
never gonna be ready. That's exactly right.
life is going to pass you by and you're going to end up not getting a whole lot done. I also see this really often show up as far as a fear of not being good enough, which leads to self-sabotage. They all kind of come back to this self-worth and
Which
this
touches on the
self-belief.
comparison thing again. I'm never gonna be as good as that person, so, yeah, that's just a great excuse to keep
So
us still.
and instead of taking a chance, pushing through that fear and taking a risk, we actually play it safe. Oftentimes we're playing it safe because we don't want to fail. And we
Yep.
self-sabotage. Again, we fall into the excuses, the blame, the stories, and whatever. We get shiny new object syndrome, all of these things to keep
Amen.
us from getting hurt. But has anybody ever thought about the fact that you are hurting yourself by staying stuck where you are and not actually just taking some steps? So I know it sounds really wild and crazy to go from 0 to 60 and be like, I don't believe in myself, to I believe in myself. So I'm not going to ask anyone to go that far. That would be ridiculous and probably not going to result in a huge transformation. What I am going to do is have you consider, what if just for this moment you stop looking at everyone else, started looking at yourself, your unique skills, talents, experiences, and all these things that create the identity of you. And what if for a moment you just decided it was actually possible for you to have all of those dreams? Just for a moment. What if it's possible? What if what you offer has a massive value you could
Mhm.
give to the world? At least a couple people out there, very likely, need to hear what you have to say.
Yep.
And it's not going to be for absolutely everyone. But there is someone out there on this planet of some 6 billion folks out there. Someone needs to know what you learned from all of your experiences. And what if you could do just one tiny thing to take you one step closer?
Uh,
Maybe that's sharing something that's on your mind with a safe friend. Maybe that's brainstorming some ideas. Maybe it's doing a little bit of research into something that you've been putting off because you didn't think it was possible for you. Maybe it could be just getting a little bit more organized. Maybe it's, reading a book to increase your knowledge, and not if you need to just keep increasing your knowledge to be ready, But sometimes we do need to have that
Make
foundation.
us think we're readier. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, if you have the stuff in place, you are pretty much ready, and you can start while finishing up those other things, right? You can start building that foundation. So, and it could also be hiring someone to help you to implement or design your next steps. So the key
Love
is
it.
keeping it really simple, small changes that you can keep showing up consistently with. And in that case, the only possible way for you to fail is if you don't show up.
I love that because that makes it so clear that it's in our own hands. And it's
Yeah.
not saying I'm going to go out and rule the world today. It's just I've done one more thing to get what I need to get out in front of more people so that the one person who needs to hear it is going to hear it.
And then bonus, you get to celebrate your small success and build on that. And then, you know, as I'm kind of I'm not a neuroscientist, but I'm like geek out towards all things neuroscience. You literally can change your brain cells with
Your
what
chemistry.
you're thinking. So you
Yeah,
can
that's amazing to me.
those brain cells, it will impact your body's chemistry and all of the circumstances around you, all kind of feed off of this first step, which is your thinking.
It's amazing. It's literally one of the things I did. I did it today, as a matter of fact. There was something that was just starting to bother me a little bit. And I just did a timeout. Wait a minute. I'm just going to choose to feel good. What's awesome today? And the same thing is with the stapler. And within about 3 minutes, I had sort of shifted a little bit. The entire trajectory of the day changed.
Right.
Like,
and imagine what
things
would have
happened today
happened.
that were not even on the agenda. And
Right.
it really does make a difference because everything you see and hear and all the ways you interact is totally different. If I had been in a bad mood, there are 3 awesome things happened today that wouldn't have happened. So
Exactly.
I'm a full fan of you forever. So folks, here's what you need to do. You got a question about how to be happy when it's hard to be happy. You're feeling stuck. You need to get aligned. Direct message or email Christy. And here, I'll get this off here so you can see her name. But also, if you have questions, you're watching this on replay or live, drop them in the chat. We will make sure that we tag Christy and get answers from her because I'm telling you, I love your approach to this. It's guilt-free. It's focused on getting the incremental steps done. It's taking responsibility for our own stuff. And, you know, we are full supporters here at Profit Concierge, and anything we can do to support you, Christy, we're all in. Folks, Christy has volunteered to help anybody needing some help in this space. Male, female, moms, young, old, doesn't matter. This is a place to come to get some answers, and we're building a community here where we can do that. So thanks, everybody, for listening on this hump day. Christy, thanks for coming to us in the
I wanted
snow.
to share a little bit about my program, though, if I can.
Good thing. I just looked at that last note. I'm like, wait a minute, there's one more thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just going to share really briefly about my brand new program because I'm just really excited about it. It's just coming out. Basically, my program is called Create Your Happy. It's a journey of self-love and self-acceptance. And I wanted to share a little bit about what the program offers because through the CREATE methodology, my clients are basically going from overwhelmed and stuck to balanced and confident. And this is through a 6-step methodology that I have. And the first step of that is to calibrate your consciousness. So this is about getting those mindsets and beliefs under control, flipping the script on those negative recurring thought patterns so that they are in turn going to serve you in the future you desire to create. The step 2 is to refine your routine. So by getting a nice solid routine to your day, to your life, you can take back your time and as well get the most benefit out of your productivity and your creativity. So working with those gifts that you have and formulating your grand routine around them. The third step is to elevate your energy. We all know lots of people who struggle with low energy. So this is a component here to get balanced and mindful nutrition and fitness into your routine so that you can boost that energy and get off that whole roller coaster of that whole like diet and the crazy like intense workouts. It's not needed. I'm super anti-diet. I'm throwing that in there. I dislike diet culture. We don't need to be so extreme. We can do this in a balanced and healthy way and get those long-lasting results. Step 5 is to tune into your true vision. So this is a deeper dive into what aligned living looks like specifically for you inside your life and how to start living with more ease and flow. And then the final step to my philosophy is to empower your elevated self. This is where you're going to uncover that best version of you that has been kind of quietly lurking below the surface so that you can confidently step into your true power.
I
And
love it. I think I missed the A. So we've got, I'm doing this in the comments here. We've got calibrate your
oh,
consciousness, refine your routine, elevate your
right,
energy.
yeah.
What's the A?
Oh, sorry, my bad. I totally missed it on
No,
my
no,
notes.
we're getting it in
And
here.
I got all excited, I guess, about the T. So activate your aligned life. So this is about figuring out what, sorry, I totally said this. I mixed them up. I just put them, mishmash them together. So the aligned living, so activating that aligned living space, and then taking that to the next level to figure out what steps you are going to take to start crushing all those big goals that you have. That is the tune into your true vision. So goal setting and then getting that action plan so that you can actually make it happen. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And I've got that all in the comments so that people can kind of look at it and go, okay, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Because I could follow that journey from
Yeah.
somebody from the beginning to really making use of this to make a massive change. So thank you so, so much for that. That was amazing.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate the chance to chat and share. And I love conversation with people, and sharing ideas is totally right up my alley. So I really happy to have had
Awesome.
the
Well,
chance.
we are the lucky ones, and you will see this out on my feed, in the group feed for Profit Concierge on YouTube.
Awesome.
So feel free to grab it and share it with your own
Yeah.
community as well, because this is just loaded full of, as Bruce put it, this was nice. So this was
Yeah.
really good. Thank you so much, and I wish you a warmer few days. We're actually, I think we're in Pennsylvania. We're supposed to be getting up to 69 Fahrenheit here in the next 2 days somewhere. I'm like, this is crazy. We need to get cold and stay there. But everybody have a great rest of your hump day. We will see
Yeah.
you on Snack and Learn again very soon. And Christy, don't forget to reach out to her in the comments, direct message, whatever you want, if you've got some questions about how to bring happiness into what may feel a little stuck right now. Take care,
Yeah.
everybody.